Hey everyone, welcome back to our Dify series. Today we're diving into a really common question we get. You see Lucas here feeding all sorts of documents into his knowledge base. He's building this amazing brain for his AI, but when he asks it a question, sometimes the AI gives a great answer but cites the wrong source, or maybe even misses the best piece of information altogether. Lucas is left scratching his head, wondering, how exactly does this whole thing work behind the scenes? How does the knowledge base, this doc for information, actually sort everything? Well, you've come to the right place. This is episode 34, and we're going to build your intuition for RAG, or Retrieval-Augmented Generation, using Dify's knowledge base as our example. Let's start with a metaphor. Imagine your knowledge base isn't just a digital folder, but a massive external warehouse. It's gigantic, filled with countless cargo boxes. Each document you upload, whether it's a PDF, a text file, or a web page, gets packed into these boxes and stored on the shelves. Now, when you ask your AI a question, what you're really doing is sending a request to this warehouse. This first step is called retrieval. Think of it like sending Lucas into the warehouse with a search query. He's not reading every single document. That would take forever. Instead, he is using keywords and the core meaning of your question to quickly scan the labels on the boxes, looking for the most relevant ones. Once Lucas has identified a few promising cargo boxes, the next step is recall. This is where the robotic arms of the warehouse spring into action. They don't pull out the entire shelf or a whole section. They selectively retrieve only a handful of the most relevant boxes, the ones that seem to match your query the best. These boxes, or chunks of your documents, are then brought out of the warehouse. Finally, we get to the G in RAG, generation. Lucas takes the information from inside those retrieved cargo boxes and uses it as the raw material to construct a clear, coherent answer to your original question. So the full process looks like this. You ask a question, the system searches the warehouse, retrieves a few relevant chunks of information, and then the AI synthesizes those chunks into a new answer for you. This is the magic of Retrieval-Augmented Generation. It allows the AI to use your specific data to answer questions, grounding it in facts you've provided, instead of just relying on its general training knowledge. It's like giving a library card to your own private library. But this brings us back to our original problem. If the process is so straightforward, why do things sometimes go wrong? Why does the AI occasionally cite the wrong document or miss a key piece of data? The secret lies in understanding that this whole sorting process isn't deterministic. It's probabilistic. Let's take a look inside our warehouse. The cargo boxes, which represent our data chunks, aren't all uniform. They come in different sizes, and the labels on them aren't always perfect. When you upload a long document, Dify automatically breaks it down into smaller, more manageable pieces through a process called chunking. Each chunk is then analyzed, and the system calculates its similarity to your question. Think of it like putting each cargo box on a scale. Based on keywords, context, and semantic meaning, the system gives each chunk a relevant score. The chunks with the highest scores are the most likely to be picked. They're the heaviest on the scale. This is why we call it probabilistic. The AI is making an educated guess about which chunks are the most helpful. It's not a perfect system. Sometimes a really relevant piece of information might be in a chunk that gets a slightly lower score for some reason, and a less relevant chunk gets picked instead. It's like a cargo box being tucked away in a corner where it's just slightly harder to see. This is how you can end up with misplaced citations. The AI generates a perfect answer, but the chunk it references as the source might not be the best asterisk source it used. It might have combined information from several chunks, but it can only point to one. And sometimes the most relevant cargo box is just overlooked entirely, leading to a less complete answer. Understanding this probabilistic nature is key. It helps you troubleshoot and improve your knowledge base by thinking about how you structure your documents and how they re-chunked. So we've figured out how RAG lets our AI retrieve and use information from an external knowledge base. It can now access data, which is a huge leap forward. But what's next? What if we want our AI to do more than just read information? What if we want it to actively perform tasks in the real world? For example, what if I want the AI to not just tell me the weather, but to actively call a tool, like a weather API, to get the live up-to-the-minute forecast? Or what if I wanted to send an email or search the web for me? That's where we move beyond simple retrieval and into the exciting world of AI agents and tools. Lucas here is already thinking about it, wondering how he can empower his AI to take action. We'll explore exactly that in our next episode. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss it.